Hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Fridays with Frankie show here on the Frankie and Ding Dong show. I am your host, Frankie Aberlon, and my best friend and co-host, King Ding Dong, fresh off traveling halfway across the country for different youth tournaments. So we're gonna get a recap from Ding Dong on some of those events later in the show. Yeah. And we have a couple special guests with us here tonight. We have to my right here, we have Master Splinter, aka Jimmy Clark, and PWBA star. Nut sauce. Or just sauce.
Just sauce.
Just sauce.
Yeah, just sauce.
Mallory Clark, everyone. So
according to ESPN, it's just sauce.
Just sauce.
Yeah, exactly.
Fox Sports.
Right, absolutely.
Today she's birthday girl.
Yes, and happy birthday, by the way, Mallory. So 24, 5? Yeah.
38.
No,
yeah.
That's not possible.
Yeah.
She lies. All right, so everyone, we got a bunch of people coming in already. That's great. So thank you for tuning in tonight. Pretty special edition tonight. If you guys saw, I announced earlier in the M.I.S.T page and on my personal page and on the Frankie and Ding Dong page, the F.K.M Hall of Fame, which is kind of a baby of mine, going all the way back to when starting the M.I.S.T back in 2009. And then we have our FDDS events, which started after COVID. It was like the M.I.S.T kind of shut down and everything shut down with COVID. Yeah. And then our kind of Frankie and Ding Dong thing sprung during COVID. Like we were looking for stuff to do during COVID.
Started it just prior to
then, and then talking with obviously our good friend Charlie Mitchell, the owner of Bayside Bowl, and he started his own Carl series, and kind of everything came together between those three things. Entities, and wow, it's like huge and awesome now. So a lot of support from the bowlers, but so we have so many titleists going back so many years that it was time for a Hall of Fame to recognize the best of the best. I was super pumped about it, and things are really rolling along with it really well. I think Mallory knows some of the stuff that's going on with it. So it's pretty cool. And
it's going to be very cool.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. So we're here to do the inaugural class announcement, which is obviously a big deal to be the first ones into any Hall of Fame, and kind of get the idea of the 6 people getting in just because we had recently visited the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown. And I remember seeing the plaques at the very end for the inaugural class that is in Cooperstown. And it's awesome to see that very first class of players in there, the Babe Ruths and those guys. And it was like, wow, this is awesome. And then you have the whole rest of the Hall of Fame around it, which is kind of the idea of having this inaugural class, a bigger class for the first class. And then as we go forward, having classes, from then forward and, basically kind of expanding it to like a panel of people that will probably, vote on the people getting in and stuff like that. We're working on that process as we go along, but the inaugural class is a very special one, near and dear to my heart. And hopefully near and dear to everyone that watches the show and participates in our events. So without further delay, we're going to get to our very first Hall of Fame member who may be in the building tonight. No may about it. It is Hall of Fame inductee, first one on the list, Jimmy Clark. I'll just read you a little bit of what I have on the thing here from Jimmy. 6 career titles in these tournament series, which puts him tied for 3rd all time. He's won a major. He's a M.I.S.T Master of the Lanes champion, a huge supporter of all 3 tournament series over the years, like huge supporter on and off the lanes. Obviously owning Bowler Builders Pro Shop, has been a massive supporter of all of our events. Anyone that just bowled the M.I.S.T Matchplay, we had some cool side money that Bowler Builders threw in for each round. That was a lot of fun. But this is all about Jimmy. On and off the lanes, just a great guy, a phenomenal bowler. And I just want to say personally, welcome to the Hall of Fame. You are our first member in.
It's an honor to be inducted into the Hall of Fame here. I can't do anything without thanking you, first of all, because none of this would be possible without you. You mentioned 2009 being your first year. The years before that, there were other tournaments out there that never took off. You went outside the box, put something different out there for all the bowlers by putting out more challenging patterns and challenging bowlers to show up. Main invitational. I had many people ask me that, what it took to be invited to the M.I.S.T tournaments. And I told them, be willing to show up, struggle, and not bitch.
Yep.
You're invited.
That's it. Your entry is your invitation, as we used to
It's
say.
exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And so many people showed up, struggled, and talked about how hard it was. But there was no, the lanes suck. This is set up for one person, JoJo. But
you were announced before him, though. So yeah,
exactly. I win.
Yes.
Anyways, none of this would be possible without you, James. So as much as you're going to give my name out first, you definitely get more recognition than anybody deserves out here. So thank you first of all and foremost. But as far as being here, just a couple years ago, I was inducted into the main state Hall of Fame,
Yes,
which was pretty special. That was the first Hall of Fame I'd been inducted into. I haven't been inducted into an association Hall of Fame yet. We'll say yet with hopes. So to get inducted into the F.K.M. Hall of Fame as the our big premier scratch tournament series in the state is it's pretty awesome.
With our events, we not only compete against bowlers in the state, it's all of New England. I mean, we got some.
Well, that's it. You have, and that's kind of where I was headed with this. It all started with a small group of bowlers in Maine. I mean, the M.I.S.T tournament had actually reached in and had a couple tournaments in New Hampshire.
We did. Yep.
I believe we had 90-something bowlers in one of those tournaments.
114.
There you go. See, correct. But again, that's how big what you had started has been created.
Yeah.
And now with Charlie's addition to the Bayside Bowl, maxing out every tournament is special. So to be a part of it with the pro shop is amazing. And then to be the first guy inducted, hey, follow suit, guys.
Follow suit.
We need to put that on a
Congratulations,
t-shirt. F.K.M. Show
And,
up, struggle, don't bitch.
We had our man Chuck
I like
Gardner,
it,
who
yeah.
we all love. We love Chuck. He checks in. He says, "I love this
Chuck.
idea about the Hall of Fame."
Hey.
So that's awesome. It definitely is great for our bowlers. I am super pumped about it. And so, Jimmy, welcome to the Hall of Fame. So we do have to get to our next inductee. We got a few more on our. So you beat this inductee, by the way, just to let you know, getting in. So we're alphabetically.
Alphabetical.
Our details.
So this bowler
We're still
here,
JC.
the next one coming up, this bowler,
What about MC?
20 titles. 20 titles for this next bowler. That's a record. Number one all time. 3 majors won. Also a record all time. 5 M.I.S.T Bowler of the Year titles, by the way. That was also a record.
That's kind of good, yeah.
The only bowler,
Yeah, it's okay.
and here's the big one, the only bowler with at least 2 titles in all 3 tournament series. And think about how hard that is to do between the M.I.S.T, our series, the Carl series. This bowler has at least 2 titles in all 3 of them, which is unbelievable. He's the GOAT. When I called this gentleman for his Hall of Fame, I told him he was the GOAT. I don't know how comfortable he was when we called him that. I told him I didn't care. You are anyway. Doesn't matter if you like it or not, but just welcome to the Hall of Fame, Joe Colcord. He is our second inductee for this class, and I can't think of any more deserving individual in the state.
He is pretty impressive. If there's anybody we put the ball in our hand, we have Frankie and I have had the luxury of bowling with this man. He's been we put the ball in his hand when somebody needs a strike.
Yep,
He's
absolutely.
good.
Yeah, if I needed to put $1 million on one bowler in the state of Maine, now betting on yourself and you're giving it to one person, I'm giving it to him to throw the shot.
He is the guy.
Yeah, definitely. So, welcome, Joe. Obviously, very well deserving. You're the GOAT. And he was pretty excited. So I actually made phone calls to all the inductees ahead of time. I have those recorded, and I'm actually going to make a cool little montage of those induction phone calls, and we're going to put those on the FDDS page here at some point soon. So that'll be a lot of fun. So I can't wait. Some of the reactions are like, "Oh my God, this is awesome," and then we get a reaction that's like, "Cool," like a little bit of everything. So it's great. It kind of shows everyone's personality really perfectly.
Just saying, Corey did bite his tongue while we had our conversation.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was with you when I gave you the call. So
we hung up, and he's like, "Man, I bit back a couple fun phrases."
So I'm just going to preface the next inductee is a very reluctant inductee because this next person doesn't really like their name brought up a lot and doesn't like to be talked about a lot. So I'm just going to let.
I'm going to take over.
Mallory's going to take over because her and Jimmy were very instrumental in in what kind of goes on with this.
Forcing your hand.
Right, exactly. So because it's not my style.
So James and I had had conversations about the Hall of Fame in the past, and coming up with the inaugural class was really a big decision because, like he said, you want it to be your best bowlers. You want it to be people that have really helped these tournaments move forward and always supported the tournaments. Mm-hmm. And our next person that is getting inducted in the inaugural class of the Hall of Fame has 6 titles, 4 M.I.S.T titles, and 2 FDDS titles. He's been running these tournaments for I don't know how many years at this point. How many years? 14 years.
Yeah.
And
1 year off, so kind of 13. It was 1 year in the middle.
It was a break. Everybody needs a break.
That's true.
If it was not for James, we would not have these tournaments. We would not have the growth in sport bowling and scratch bowling that we do in this area in New England and Maine. I mean, I remember coming back to the sport a few years ago and thinking, "There's no chance I'm ever bowling in one of these. I'm never going to be good enough." And I just stuck with
I
it.
remember you saying that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I knew that too.
But yeah, nobody deserves to be in this more than you, because if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have this. There'd be no tournaments to create a Hall of Fame for. There would be no, struggle bus for everybody to bowl on at least once a month.
Right.
It's very humbling for us to bowl in these tournaments, and you're so supportive of everyone there bowling. I'm going to pass it along to Jimmy, because I know he's been a part of this since you started running these tournaments.
We said it a little while ago, 14 years.
Yeah.
14 years ago, you took something that was dead and turned it around with your spin on it. It's okay. As much as you have had outside ideas from other people, James is the one that took it and pushed forward with it. He contacted centers. He set tournaments up. He got his sponsors. He got the things to get the ball rolling, literally. We talked just a little while ago, and you had said that you had mentioned to your wife that when you first got this started, that it would be kind of cool that if this amounted to something to make a Hall of Fame out of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, bro, here's your dream.
It is.
It happened. Okay, so none of us can take anything to heart without giving you some sort of thanks. So if you're in the area, you want to bowl something, this is the guy you thank. No matter how many people have helped you, it all starts with you. So James Gould, Frankie Avalon, welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Well deserved for sure.
And I remember, Ding Dong, when you first got back into bowling after taking a long break, you were very excited to bowl the M.I.S.T back then, because
I hadn't bowled in literally 10 years.
I believe you bowled a tournament before league, right?
Before league,
you bowled tournament before that.
So I had a few balls left over, but there was only one I could get my hand into. So I showed up at the M.I.S.T tournament.
Yep.
I had no idea.
I remember that.
We never bowled sport bowling before 10 years before that.
Right.
With my literally one ball in my shoes, slung
literally.
over my back. I had no idea. Yes, what I was in for, and it was incredible. It wasn't because I remember when I bowled before, it was kind of shut your eyes, twist it, and throw it at the ditch, right?
Strikes wins.
Right.
And that's how it was. And I guess I was kind of hooked, I brought my one ball and I figured I'd twist it and throw it at the ditch. And that's not how it was.
Right.
I was like, whoa, this is great. Everyone is having a rough time here. It's kind of cool. It was a nice difference from just normal bowling of everyone trying to score. That's why even at Monte Carlo we do, I think, is just something different about the game. And I saw a lot of bowling, like we talked about in the youth play out there, and lots of different tournaments run by even our governing body that don't seem as nice as the tournaments that you run. So
thank you, appreciate it.
It definitely all stems down to you, that to get it done. And, we've been doing it pretty well the last couple of years. I think.
It's coming great. Yeah. Awesome.
Filling every tournament.
Yep.
It says something right there.
Yeah. And, with the waiting list and stuff, I wish we didn't have to go through the waiting list as much, but, we still end up getting the bowlers there.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
And, just thinking, we were talking about this just before we came on, the amount of money that you've awarded here in the state, just in that 14 years, is astronomical. Probably, you said even more than $250,000 to amateur players here in Maine. Not all amateurs. Not all amateurs.
Right.
Yeah, we just had
speaking of which, we just had to win one of our
Storm. Jimmy Prince,
former pros, definitely, yes.
Yeah, so
absolutely.
You've awarded a bunch of money to a lot of different bowlers, and that's the cool thing. We put out that hard shit, and it allows the different players to win, and then it allows Joe to win too.
Right, he's gonna win no matter what we put out. So
At least twice, right?
Right. All right, so that's enough about me. I don't like talking about myself, but thank you. I really appreciate you guys, everything. So it's very humbling. Seeing the comments come in is great. Mike Dume says, congratulations. Del Picard says, hell yeah, you're as real as they come. I really appreciate that, Del. definitely looking forward to getting out for digger doubles again this year. So pretty excited about that event that you run. So
Dell did happen to say something about maybe pot games, digger doubles at his house.
oh, well, I'm in for that, dude.
Oh,
That's now
Just
we're
saying
now
that.
we're talking. So sorry. So
Yeah.
moving on for me,
Okay.
we still have 3 more Hall of Fame members to get through here, guys. So this is a lot of fun. I'm pretty excited about this. So our next Hall of Fame member is someone that came to us from out of state. Back in the M.I.S.T days, really enjoyed the fact that we put out some super tough stuff, and this bowler really started excelling on it, and they've excelled for a long time. This bowler here also has 6 career titles in our combined tournament series, which puts him tied for 3rd all time with Jimmy Clark. He's a major titleist. He's won a M.I.S.T Master of the Lanes. He's a grinder, which is something I appreciate. Guys that grind and grind and grind and think they're out of a cut and all of a sudden makes the cut. And you're like, how did he make the cut? Well, he never gave up. And that kind of epitomizes this next person who's getting in. So I admire this person's game. I admire their attitude. I admire kind of everything about this next person. And it's a very deserving honor for this person to be in our inaugural class. Welcome, Mike Clausen, to the F.K.M. Hall of Fame. And I know we've all bowled with Mike a lot over the years in different events. Yeah. And I think all of us say that he's definitely a deserving member of this class.
Yeah, Mike's a very good player. He'll tell you himself he has a unique ball roll. So as he'll tell you, if he's striking, nobody's beating him.
Right.
And I've seen it. We've all seen it.
Yep.
He throws it well, and when he's on, there's nobody better. And as you said, he's going to make his spares. If the scores are low, he's making the cut.
Absolutely, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, I bowled tournaments out of state with Mike as well. I bowled Green Mountain Open with him a couple times.
Yep.
He's a great teammate. He's a great friend. He's a phenomenal bowler. So I'm really happy to see Mike inducted in this inaugural class. It's very exciting.
Absolutely, very well deserving. And like I said, these tournament series, yes, we hold it in Maine. It was originally, obviously, Maine bowlers is a big deal to us, but our out-of-state bowlers that come and support our events, I love everyone that comes and supports our tournament.
The center to out-of-state bowlers is growing.
It is. And you know what? They recognize, hopefully, what we do up here. I try to be a very honest person, very transparent person with anyone that asks me any questions. And so I think that people appreciate that. And, that's just a testament, seeing someone like Mike up here battling and competing on our events and making the Hall of Fame very deservedly.
Awesome. Yes.
All right. So our next Hall of Fame member had probably my most interesting call. The next Hall of Fame member actually, has one career title in the tournament series, actually won a FDDS event. And this person here, you're going to know in about 2 seconds who it is. This person is the creator of the Carl series, which is obviously a booming success at this point. Created the Hungus 8K, which obviously is the biggest first place prize in New England for a singles event. Amazing $8,000 first place prize. Never thought I would see that in the state. I remember starting to miss Matchplay. First year was $1,500, then we got up to $2,000. At that point, that was unheard of money. $8,000 is 4 times that amount. It's crazy, and it's awesome because this person also, Bayside Bowl, is their baby, the owner of Bayside Bowl, and the person that I've worked so much with over the years and have created so many things with. All of us in this room have had superb interactions and business dealings and everything with this person. And obviously, the person who combined showed us that we could have events which were not only the ultimate party, but the pinnacle of scratch bowling, all at the same time. Yep. Leave your attitude at the door, come in, have a great time, battle, compete. It's not going to be easy, but it's going to be worth it. And this person's always looking to improve their game and always at the same time making sure everyone else is having a great time, which is not easy to do. And the fact that this person had all that foresight, and we have more, just a testament to it. We have 17 events coming up this season. This person was a huge part of that. Yes. And has been for many years. I'll never forget the first phone call I had with this person. It actually was an email exchange way back in 2010, 2011. And this person said, hey, I own this little bowling center in Portland. We're just kind of a party center, but we kind of want to be taken a little more legitimately at this point. What would it take for you to bring your M.I.S.T tournament series? I've heard good things about it. Bring it to our center and see what happens. That was the very first email exchange I ever had with this person. And from then on, it's been awesome. So
it's only gotten better.
It has. So I just want to say a very deserving welcome to the inaugural class to Charlie Mitchell, Carl Hungus. Welcome to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's Charlie.
Yeah.
Charlie's very deserving. he's newer to the series, but the things that he's done for us is amazing.
It's phenomenal.
Not only did he bring the PBA to Maine, which I don't know how many of you from New England ever thought that PBA would be north of Connecticut. Well, we get it every year now in Maine because of this man. And then not only was he about the PBA, he's brought it, as you said, Frankie, to all of the scratch bowlers.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been amazing. His world tour, his animal
the
series.
Animal Kingdom. We have.
He's just his
The
ideas.
Legend series. Yeah.
Every
year something different.
He makes you look forward to the next series and what's next.
Yeah.
And it's so fun. He has such an inviting aura or presence, or however you want to word it. If you know Charlie, you know what we're talking about. You call him Hungus, call him Carl, call him what you want.
Yeah.
But he's your bowling friend for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So deserving to have him in this class for sure.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Charlie.
Absolutely. Congratulations. What he's doing for the game, too.
It's amazing.
You know, I mean, really, like, bringing the PBA to Maine, like you said, was something we were told was never going to happen.
To a 12-lane bowling center.
Right.
Well, they always
right.
said that we don't have a center big enough. You
Right.
know, you don't have a center big enough. So they bring it to a 12-lane bowling center, and then he actually erupts it, like the crowd's going wild. You know, it turns bowling around in a way.
It changed the team event. It
Yeah,
did.
I mean, the
last
PBA
couple
league
weeks,
became what it is
Yeah.
now because of
And
Yeah.
I think it's, you know, that type of thing, I think, is bringing in some of these younger players even, you know, and like I saw a lot of the younger players and they were excited about the things that we do that are very similar to what PBA does and everything. And what he's doing for the game, what he's doing for our bowling here in Maine.
Yes.
You know, like I still need to contact the other center, but Hungus adding a new center. It looks like we're going to take the youth league to the new center.
Yeah.
Broadway
Oh, that's
Bowl
awesome.
is going to
That'd be
have the youth league this year at the first year of Broadway Bowl. We're going to have the youth league, which
That'd
is
be
kind of
awesome.
cool. You know, like he is definitely one of the type of people that we need owning these centers, because let's face it, a lot of these center owners, they're getting older. They're not as youthful and as excited about bowling as Hungus is, you know, and you really see it in his center.
I think his motto, as he says, is he focus on one league and build around it.
Yeah.
And we look at Bopo is going to, I mean, I think there's 3 or 4 expansion teams this year.
Yep, there is.
So we've got to be pushing 60 teams for one league.
Yeah.
I mean, you're now
it's
spanning
unbelievable.
2 nights, 2 shifts, multiple for a banner.
Right.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
so-
I mean, we're not bowling for
you
any
say
prize money.
60 teams, but it's not like we're bowling at Silver Lanes here. We're bowling in a 20-lane center.
Right.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thunder Bowl,
2 nights,
the
2
largest
shifts.
center in America, is 90 lanes, right?
Right.
So we're not bowling in Thunder Bowl. We're
Right.
bowling at
So,
Bayside
so,
Bowl, which is
you know,
20
as
lanes.
you know, and the hard part, you know, with any Hall of Fame, you know, Charlie's done so much for the game in the state and the country, literally the entire sport.
Proprietor of the year 1 year.
Right. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know, but even just limiting that to the scope of what we're looking at for our Hall of Fame, it's just so much. Again, we have 17 events this year, and a huge part because of his efforts and what we've done and what we do together. You know, us all working together helps everyone.
Correct.
That's the biggest thing.
I
And
agree.
I just want to say thank you to Hungus and welcome to the Hall of Fame. Very deserving. So our last Hall of Fame inductee is another fellow lefty. Is second all time in career titles. For a while, he and Joe Colcord were battling back and forth on who was going to be the better. But 15 career titles, nothing to sneeze at. Second all time. 3-time Miss Bowl of the Year, also second all time. 2020, Carl's, speaking of which, Wild Kingdom Wolf champion. And he embodies what it means to be a humble champion. And just the phone call I had with this person inducting them was the epitome of, you know, the aw shucks. It's not an act. It's not a gimmick. That's who this person is.
He is.
You know, shies away from the spotlight, just wants to kind of do his thing. Not an enemy in the world because he's just basically just a nice guy that does his business
Keeps
and
to his
goes
own.
on, you know. And so I just want to say he's a professional all the time on and off the lanes with great pride. Joe Ramsdell III is our last Hall of Fame member for the inaugural class 2023 F.K.M. Hall of Fame. And I'm going to run that ticker at the bottom of the screen so everyone can see all the members of the Hall of Fame up there.
So Joe Ramsdell III, I have had the pleasure of knowing him for quite a while, both juniors with him as he was coming up, and then into the adult leagues. He's been the same person, as you said. He's as humble as can be.
100%.
Guy shoots 300 like he shot 150.
Yep.
It's hard to say that I've ever seen him angry, other than when you challenge him to strike and he doesn't. But other than that, he's amazing. He repeats as good as anyone.
Yes.
He controls the ball. I don't even know. His career stats are crazy. I know he came in to Portland one day to the pro shop, and I had another customer in there, and he picked up a ball. And he talked about just the stats he had for that season. And I believe, and this was mostly in Augusta, and the guy strikes, I don't care what building. I believe it was like 6 300s, 3 299s, and 4 800s in just the season.
Right.
And this guy that is in the shop buying a ball just was speechless, never said anything until after Joe left. And he asked me, he goes, is that how many he's had just this year? Like, he totally questioned it, not believing him.
Right.
I mean, he strikes that much. He's that good.
For sure.
I believe he holds the main state record at 245 or 246 for a season average.
Right.
We can talk about how much he strikes till a blue in the face.
Right.
We're still gonna make fun of you at the next tournament, Joe, because we love you.
Right.
Yeah. Ultra smooth lefty, though.
Yeah.
I mean, ultra
like
smooth.
the epitome of that, kind of just.
And a great spare shooter on top of
Oh,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah. When he leaves with one a game, yes.
When
He
he
makes
leaves, it's one a game.
When he leaves with one a
Yeah,
game,
for
he
his
makes it.
279, it's usually pretty good. So
Right.
wait, rather than the GOAT, since they're both Joes, what about like Joe Cool? Wasn't that a thing back then?
Yeah.
Was it
Right.
Snoopy
It's like a
that was Joe
cigarette,
Cool?
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Snoopy
No,
with sunglasses.
I thought Joe
Joe
Cool
Yeah.
was. I thought Joe Cool was the guy on the Camel Pack.
That's what I was
Cigarettes.
thinking.
No, it was
Joe Camel.
Snoopy with sunglasses.
That's Joe
on.
Camel.
It's like Joe Camel or
That's
something.
what I was when I was younger. So.
Yeah, Joe Cool is Snoopy with
Snoopy with
sunglasses.
All right,
sunglasses.
there we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
All right, so we got Joe
Gave
Cool.
away his
We got the
secret
better
identity.
Joe.
Right.
Yeah.
Biscuits.
All right.
So
So,
that means Joe Ramsdell is officially Joe too.
so there it is. You
Joe
have
Joe.
at the bottom of your screen, you will see all 6 Hall of Famers: Jimmy Clark, Joe Colcord, James Goulding III, Mike Clausen, Charlie Mitchell, Joe Ramsdell III. All will be inducted September 17th at Bayside Bowl at our Tournament of Champions event, which is cool. That's our inaugural Tournament of Champions event.
Yeah.
What a great time to induct all these members into the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be no doubt you're going to know who our Hall of Famers are every time you walk into Bayside Bowl, and that's all I'm going to give away, and it's pretty awesome. So I can't wait.
I've heard some hints. It sounds like it's gonna be pretty special.
Yes, can't wait.
Excited for sure.
Pretty excited for it. So anyways, don't miss that event. We're gonna live stream it on our Frankie and Ding Dong Show page, obviously, so everyone can see it. And it'll be.
So we're gonna do a
archived.
little kickoff before the tournament. Correct, James?
I believe that's what it's going to be.
Everyone will still be happy. though.
Hungus did mention something about possible
No one has
mezzanine,
missed
maybe
this.
something on the mezz or something. But
Okay.
we'll iron out all the details. We'll definitely have that for everyone before the tournament, just so everyone knows exactly what's happening. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that. So hey, so congratulations, Hall of Famers! I love it. It's good stuff. So all right, so let's get. Mallory, since you're here, let's
Hi.
talk a little PWBA season recap while we got you in the building. How's it going so far? And is there any events left for you this season?
Yes. So this season has gone significantly better than last season. Cashed in quite a few events. Made a stepladder final at the Spokane Regional. Shot 244 and lost. Katie bowled phenomenal, but you can't be upset shooting 240 your first stepladder.
Yeah,
We
we watched that. Yeah,
I
it was
was like, I
unreal.
can't strike
It was
anymore.
unbelievable.
Right.
We do have one last tour step. We have the Tour Championship Week
That's
next
right.
week in Waterloo, Iowa.
Okay.
We are headed out Monday, and then it's similar to a classic series. So we're gonna have 2 smaller 2-day events, and then the third event is the Tour Championship. And if I'm understanding it correctly, once those first 2 events are done, then they're gonna tally all the points for the total season.
Oh, okay.
And that top 24
Okay.
makes the tour finals. Where last year it was just whoever was top 24 from those
From
last
those-
2 tournaments.
Okay, so it'll be a season-long kind of thing.
Yeah, if I'm understanding it correctly,
Okay.
I
All right.
believe that's how it's
Okay,
working.
that's pretty
so
cool. That's pretty cool.
I need 2 very good tournaments to
We can do it.
sneak into the top 24, but we'll do our best.
Absolutely.
And if not, I will be there cheering Liz on because I'm sure she will make the top 24.
Yeah, that's
no
awesome.
problem.
And what a great sophomore season. Seeing you obviously making that step ladder was cool. Seeing you make a bunch of cuts this year, which was
Yeah.
awesome. So bigger and better things. I mean, it's this trajectory is great.
Yeah, I'll be bowling my first Pro-Am in the end of August. They're doing a Pro-Am for the regional in Rockford, Illinois at the end of the month.
Yeah, cool.
So there's a handful of us there because that Rockford is phenomenal. The proprietor's fantastic. The center's great. They love bowling there, especially women's bowling. I think we got a picture of the doorway.
I believe so.
I'll have to look and find it. I can't remember what it says, but they have something cool about women's bowling over one of their doorways entering the building.
Yeah.
Similar to like the TOC for the PBA.
Yeah.
So they are having a pro-am. It's not typical that we have pro-ams for our regionals because they are typically a little smaller field, but it's a big field. And I believe it's the national tour members that are bowling it that will be the pros for the pro-am.
Oh, okay.
So
Nice.
just found out today. So
Right. Awesome. Well, it's great to get that information out there. That's great. So, yeah. So what a great season. And obviously, are you planning on bowling in 2024 on tour again? Is it? Can we shoot out a little bit of early info to the viewers?
Yeah, I am. I think had this season not gone as well as it did, I might have reconsidered maybe only bowled a tour stop here and there. But I see improvement from last year. There's other people that have told me they also see improvement, which makes me feel like I'm not crazy and just like think that I'm doing better and I'm really not.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to keep doing it. Made some great friends out there. I've had a fantastic time. I feel like my game has improved getting out there. And like I explained to everybody, like your rookie season, it doesn't matter how many friends you make, how many people you know, how many games you've bowled. Every tournament feels like new kid on the first day of school.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And this year, it's like you know the drill, you know how everything's going, you know what to expect, and you have a little more confidence on the lanes.
Sure.
So I think it can only go up from here. So.
And you got a great support system around you, which is a big deal, you know, definitely. So.
Yeah, I have a phenomenal support system. Obviously, Jimmy is very supportive. He stays home and takes care of our naked cat baby.
Your naked cat.
Naked cat baby while I'm out.
Who might be the biggest star of the season.
He might be. He now has his own jersey.
I saw that.
We even got new clothes with it yesterday. But you know, like you guys are all both very supportive as well. You know, my parents, Charlie Mitchell, huge supporter. Walter.
Yeah, you got to rip off your sponsors here. You got to get some
Grand Real Estate Management,
Yeah,
DJ Asia, Bayside Bowl, Hammer, Ultimate, EFX. I mean, I have phenomenal sponsors, and I couldn't be where I am without them. I couldn't do this without them. Yeah. So it's really great to have that support, and I love like always coming home. And it doesn't matter how I bowled. Everyone at Bayside is like, "You did great. We're so proud of you." And I'm like, I didn't feel like I did great, but thank you.
Well, we are so proud of you, Mallory. I must say,
Thank you.
It was fun watching you again this year. And like in that step ladder, you were bowling so well. And like, you know, like all of us, I think were had every finger crossed, you know, but like you said, the girl bowled great, you know, you got to give it to her, and you stepped it up and you made her work. And that's what else better can you do? And the thing that I thought was cool is like, you came home, like you had a break from tour and you bowled. I got to bowl with you because you subbed on the team that we were bowling against one night. And I could really see like your versatility has really come along, and your ball roll, and it being able to do a lot more things than you had previous to. And I just think like just having that experience and being out there and just rolling with all the girls and has really, you know, taken your game to a phenomenal level. And let's go. Let's get 2 more
last couple of events. Let's do it.
Yeah, was it Justin Urbano and I made the cut at the Lucy this past weekend?
Yeah. Professional photo bomber Justin Urbano.
It was definitely not easy this year.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that it was tough. Yeah.
Started with a 138 and somehow battled my way back to plus 21. So.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. You know, you're bowling that stuff out here all the time.
Exactly.
So, you know, you're
that's
used
what
to
I said.
that.
I'm ready for
I'm used
stuff.
to battling. I'm used to grinding. So, you know.
Yeah, we're just getting you ready.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what we're doing out here. We're getting you ready. It's just like Jeff in the DJBT. He's getting these
kids ready for
Yeah.
what's next. So, all right. So we definitely are looking forward to your. Is it called a junior season out there? Your third year? I know sophomores are second.
I think you're just there.
You're just there. You're
just there.
At that point, you're a veteran tour player, right?
Yeah.
Not a wildly veteran.
Not wildly veteran.
No,
I think that's saved for a little further down the road.
A couple more years under that.
Jim Griffith says Mallory will have a great career in the PWBA.
Oh, thanks, Jim.
That's great. All right, so now we're going to get into the 2023 M.I.S.T Matchplay Championship recap. Beefy Burrito oil pattern this year. We were able to get that into the machine, and it played great. I thought it was a great oil pattern for this year. allowed a lot of different styles into play. You know, tweeners, strokers, power players. I mean, guys that twist it, guys that get up the back of it, ladies, you name it. Everyone had a chance this year, which was all you can ask for out of any oil pattern. It could play tough, or you saw some guys that really could open it up and start wheeling it. Congrats to our tournament champion, by the way, Arturo Quintero, for winning the 2023 Miss Matchplay, and he qualifies for our TOC if he's going to be around in September. So
Right. Yeah, and they knew bowl very good. Get to bowl with him in the round of 16, just for the match.
Yes, round of
for the
16.
payout.
Yeah.
And he did something a little different. He was in swinging a little bit, not that he was swinging it much, but he made his ball get outside of 3 every time.
Yeah, it was
And
unreal to watch.
in a small window, as far as front to back, like he was very accurate, and as far as how far down the lane he got it. Like it got out right every time. I mean, I remember watching a couple of shots. You heard spectators go,
yeah,
and the ball just went dead flush. It looked amazing, and it had 40% of it hanging over the gutter.
Yeah,
he was very impressive to watch.
Yeah,
a couple other bowlers tried to do that. Definitely not with the same amount of success. My favorite thing with it, yeah.
I hung a few out there, and they went straight at about 35 feet.
Yeah. So I will say I never threw any in the gutter, but I myself kept my angle straighter and used very dull urethanes.
Yeah.
A couple of the purple ones that people love so much.
This guy loves them.
I actually had used, brought up 2 of them, drilled the same with both from sand to 500, went from one to the other.
Yep.
So it was fun to watch. As you said, the people that played on them, there was no early hook, which I loved. Something I usually fight.
Yep.
But there was plenty of downlane hook.
Yep.
So as you said, every style was in play. You just had to kind of play them a certain way.
It was funny. You mentioned that. So when we first started, I was bowling next to Clausen, right? And he's like, I cannot believe how much this pattern's hooking. This is nuts with all this volume. And I told Mike, wait, just wait.
Right.
And about 2 games later, all of a sudden, getting it down the lane, it pushed that oil so fast with all that volume. And Mike was like, I can't get anything to hook now. I was like, I told you, just
As you
wait.
said, which is exactly it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I found when I went from one of the urethane balls to start,
Yeah.
I started moving right at the end of the game.
Yeah.
And then I switched to a fresher one, and all of a sudden I had ball reaction again.
Right.
So the fresher covers, that volume, it changed things.
And so it
Yeah.
definitely
Oh, it did.
carried down
Yeah.
because one round of 8 when I bowled Nate. Was
Clark,
it Nate? Yeah, Nate Clark. Same thing, like my ball reaction. I had to sit while they bowled their game 3, and then coming back in, obviously the oil had pushed more in that game. And he was behind me. I'm like, what? Nothing's doing what it was just doing.
Why is this
None
not
of the
doing it
things.
anymore?
Like,
Yeah.
send help.
We must still be using the ice oil, I'm assuming.
I'm not sure what he had, to be honest with you. What Greg put out, whatever,
Yeah,
I think
think
we have to
that,
burn
so.
through the ice.
Yeah, but even still, the volume was enough.
It's basically 36 mils.
And-
And
'cause I don't think-
5.94. I mean, it's
Yeah.
basically 36. So.
We're switching to absolute control, though, so
Okay.
it's going to be a little different.
but it'll be interesting to see him
Transition will be different,
transition
yeah.
a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, honestly, if we hadn't re-oiled, that would have been very interesting to see how that pattern played as it kept pushing and pushing.
Right,
and
because
pushing.
you would have found more tug areas, which again, I think you would have seen Arturo stay where he was, just
Yeah.
because his ball went right every time.
And it was
Like,
impressive
yeah,
to
way
watch
right,
him on
way
different
right.
pairs of lanes use 2 different balls on a couple different occasions. I remember famously on 1 and 2, he was, the hustle camo on 1, night road on 2.
Yeah.
And basically just with both
Yeah, throwing him to the friction.
same spot, just 2
Yeah.
different balls.
Yeah.
He was impressive. So congrats to Arturo. Obviously, we love Arturo. He's one of our guys. So
Yes.
yeah, it was cool. So so that was a Miss Matchplay. A lot of fun, great event. So pretty pumped.
We had a
about that
fun
one.
award, which had some mixed feelings from some bowlers. Where we
Just
came up
one.
with the low average, the highest average
Highest
from each
average
round,
each round that lost
got a little bit of bonus money.
First round was
Wow.
$50. Second round was 75, and third round was 100.
Yeah, so if you could win 2 matches and then be the highest average, you
made
get
$100.
Yeah, you got
your
your
entry fee back, which was great.
So-
And hopefully we can continue that next year.
Yeah,
We'll build
it was
sponsor
something that
in
was fun. It was different.
Yeah, and I'll tell
That's
you what,
what
I never
we
seen
do.
someone so excited. Aaron Major, who got knocked out of the round of 16, was so excited when I handed him a $100 bill because he's like, I
After
thought I
losing.
was in the running and I made my money back.
Yeah.
And he was so excited,
That's,
and that,
it's-
it's extra money and, it was a
Right.
fun thing to do. So it was pretty cool. So I really
So-
appreciate the shop for doing that. So.
Fun fact: there were only 2 girls in the entire field, and we drew each other the first round.
Oh, that's
wow.
right. Yeah, it was you and Natalie.
Yep.
That's right.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
We got done that
What's
match,
the
and
odds?
I walked the building, and I was like, hold on. I'm like, is it just us? She's like, yeah. I'm like, how did that happen?
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. So, and I want to just thank our tournament sponsors real quick. Ace Mitchell provided us a couple of balls that we gave away. One winner was Sean Richard, who threw a 300 with the ball right off the press, pretty much.
11.03 for 4.
Crypto boom. He got the crypto boom. He was
Yeah.
excited to win that. That's what he wanted.
50 or something.
Yeah, the last three. 850
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
803 the first 3 and 300 the last game.
Unbelievable.
The crypto
So,
boom, you said?
yeah. And
A
then
lot of people this past week were watching people throw it and striking like crazy.
I got one right
And they're
behind
like,
there
if
somewhere.
if it strikes like that, I need one.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other winner was Tony White, and we love Tony. He's one of our huge supporters. He brings down a crew from the Wilton area
Yes.
to every event.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're growing and growing and growing. We're getting
Yes.
more of those guys. I love it. They're always the nicest guys, the coolest guys. I was talking to the new Schwanger boys there, and they were at the M.I.S.T Matchplay. And I said, how's it going? And they're like, oh, we got knocked out, but that's fine because now we just get more time to drink all day.
Yeah.
And they're just the nicest guys in the world.
They
and
love
they love
bowling, which is great.
Good dudes. So
Fun.
I was happy to see Tony win the ball. Good
Yep.
for him. And, that was a lot of fun having those guys there and stuff. So, Brian says, took this thing out of losing for sure. He goes, thanks, Jimmy, because he won the one. Yeah, he won the one the round before that, the $75
Right.
one. So, yeah. So, and Brian, thank you so much for being on the mic with me. That was a lot of fun having you on there. And you do a phenomenal job every time anyway. So, definitely thank you for that. So, and thank you to Bowler Builders Pro Shops, who was a sponsor again, the financial sponsor, and offered free drilling for the raffle balls if anyone wanted to take advantage of it. But thank you so much for always being a massively big sponsor for these events. We couldn't do what we do without the shop.
Bowling's got to be pushed. If you want to have better, you got to help push them.
Absolutely. We'll cover a couple events coming up real quick. The event that's coming up in Lewiston at Just in Time, the Tommy Jones event, is that sold out at this point?
I do not know that for sure. Last I heard, there was 4 or 5 spots left. That was a week or 2 ago.
Okay.
But if anybody's interested, contact Just in Time Rec in Lewiston.
Yep.
Tommy's going to be up there doing 2 smaller clinics with him. I believe it's an hour and a half of lane time. There's a ball option if you want to get a new bowling ball.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do an ebonite or a hammer. I'm not sure if they've picked which balls.
Okay.
But Tommy will be there to help kind of talk about what ball they picked, how to help lay it out, things to help improve their game.
Right.
The shop will be on hand to kind of help anybody that's got questions or aid Tommy with anything that's going to go on. So
very good. So looking
I
forward to
believe
hopefully
some of the
great
proceeds are going to
I believe lung cancer.
one of the lung
Okay.
cancer
Yeah.
foundations,
All right.
local ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of this happened to be Tommy actually giving Justin a little incentive to quit smoking.
Yes, I remember that.
And it's been over 2 years that Justin has not smoked. So, and that's part of the reason we're bringing Tommy up. So
That's
it's a great hidden
Tommy's a man of his
hidden
word.
thing of what happened. Yeah, Tommy's a great guy, stand-up guy. So it's pretty awesome. So kudos to Justin for doing it.
Absolutely,
And,
it's great. I love it.
you know,
The
take
more of that
advantage of
stuff we can
Tommy
get, the better.
Yeah, take advantage of Tommy Jones coming up. It's gonna
And don't forget, there is also the Bowl of the Pros event coming up September 21st at Spare Time Rec in Augusta. There was a registration. I just run that across the bottom of the screen. I don't know if they've sold. I don't think they've sold out. So I think you can still get into that.
I don't believe so. I believe we have a couple more pros still to be announced.
There is, and actually, yeah. So Chris Vi was the most recent one announced for that. I'll just put that on the screen for everyone. So I have that here. So the ones I'll put the bottom of the screen right now. There's Sean Rash, obviously, who's the one who's running the event.
Setting it up. Yeah.
Wes Malott, Marshall Kent, Matt Ogle, Andrew Anderson, Jacob Buttroff, Tom Smallwood, Jason Sterner, and Chris Vi so far. So a pretty good lineup.
You've got very good, high caliber bowlers. Not only good bowlers, good students of the game. People that Jason Sterner, for instance, he's got his school that him and his wife are now head coaches at. So yeah, and Chris
William Smith.
Yeah, Chris Vi does a lot of clinics along with Sean.
For sure, yeah.
So I mean, there's gonna be a lot of good information out there for sure.
And
A
there'll
lot
be
of
even more
different
being announced.
styles.
Correct.
Which is nice.
And that's great,
Yes.
yeah. Two-handers,
lot
one-handers,
of input
strokers,
for the
power
bowlers.
players, lefties,
Yeah.
righties. So that's good because it's a little bit of something for everybody, which is
Correct.
what you want. So
I don't know anyone that throws it like Butters, but he's there to help. Shout out to Butters.
He knows how to win.
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
The guy's got like 75 regional titles.
Right,
and
right.
God knows how many PBA titles.
Right. So
So
we're also going to cover real quick the juniorbowling.com DV8 Shootout. Travis Sparks from juniorbowling.com reached out to me earlier and asked if we could put this on the air, and we absolutely will. They broke 2 records for that tournament this year out of Junior Gold.
Record breaking is good.
It is a record 28,209 in scholarships are being awarded this year. That is phenomenal.
Awesome.
And they had a record 670 entries. That is
Wow.
great.
That's awesome.
And we partnered with them to announce the oil patterns for the event and to get some information out early for entries to get them. So we're glad that they broke a couple records this year, and hopefully we'll continue that partnership next year with the juniorbowling.com and the DV8 Shootout.
That's awesome.
That information. So that is really good. Congratulations to Travis and all the bowlers for all the
congratulations to all the
scholarship money.
bowlers. Yeah, I mean,
for sure.
To get these events out there, you still have to have the support. So, I mean, as much as it's awesome as you like to deflect yourself, James, you got it out there. We still support you.
Right.
So it's awesome to have the support for sure.
I agree.
I talked to Travis actually out there at the DV8 Shootout because Brooke bowled. And the goal for next year, guys, is 1,000 bowlers.
Yeah.
So, and Travis did say that he wants to partner with us again to try to help it to continue to grow it. It was a great tournament. It's definitely, if you're going to go out to Junior Gold anyways, it's definitely something you should bowl because it is a Junior Gold qualifier.
Yep.
You can get your spot for the next year and save all that money on Junior Gold fees on every tournament for the rest of the year.
Exactly.
You get a bowling ball. This year was the DV8 Troublemaker.
Great ball.
Really,
Amazing
really.
ball.
Yeah, it's like an amazing price considering you get to bowl the tournament.
Right.
You get the ball. It's a great warm-up for Junior Gold. Really great tournament.
Yeah,
Travis runs a really great event. It was at Hindell Bowl this year. I got to say it was a really, really great event. It was awesome to see the squad that Brooke was bowling on had over 100 bowlers. It was like 127 bowlers.
That's
I think
awesome.
that squad or something. And
big squad.
yeah, so we are looking to grow it to 1,000 bowlers next year.
Let's hope.
Travis is looking to partner with us to try to make some big announcements again for next year. So it's pretty awesome. It's exciting to watch some of those players out there for sure.
Absolutely.
The youth's fun to watch anyways to see how they grow. I mean, from year to year, you get to see big changes in the bowlers, not only physically but how they mentally have grown. Brooke, as you said, you can see how she's grown in the last couple of years. Yeah, going out there, bowling more at Bayside on the challenge patterns. Yeah, being a little more humble and having to make spares. Yeah, it's crazy.
For sure. Yeah, and Junior Gold, trust me, Junior Gold was awesome. It was what it's supposed to be. It's a challenge. It's really grinding for 4 games a day, on 4 different patterns and whatnot, and it was a great event for sure. And the Survivor tournament after Junior Gold, it's a little bit softer. It's a great event to bowl, but I got to tell you, we went to Team Masters after in Detroit, and Gary Beck runs an absolutely amazing event. He treats these kids like they're PBA for a week. And it's not just the Team Masters. He's doing all these side events for them. He's got all these fun side tournaments. He brought the pros in to use their ball and bowling on the same stuff.
Yeah, I remember watching them on. They had Don Barrett, I think, ended up winning that, right?
Yeah, and I got to tell you, the kids that made the top 12 got to bowl, because this was 6 games a day. For 3 days, 18 games qualifying. And then the top 12 boys, top 12 girls from Matchplay after that got to bowl in the arena.
Yep.
And these boys and girls were kind of making the pros look kind of bad. They ended up 36 games into this tournament at the end.
Right.
So they get a lot, maybe more experience than the pros did with those balls. But, man, these kids were fucking phenomenal. Yeah. And that tournament right there, I think, really showcased it. Everyone using the same ball. Yeah. Basically everyone with the same layout. Over the label drilling is basically all you had.
Right. So it's all the player.
Yeah, it's all the player. Yep. Same ball for strike and spare. 2 patterns all week. Right. You got a long pattern on the left, short pattern on the right.
Low volume pattern. Obviously with the
huge shout out to the winners, Abby Linedecker, of course.
Yes.
And Ryan Spear.
Yep.
Huge shout out. But I gotta say, some of these other players like Mia Stalakis from our DJBT, she was third, was so good.
She bowled great.
Maddie Yokel, another bowler from the DJB turn, she was 9th. Just bowled phenomenal. Yeah. And I got to tell you, there was this kid, Dominic Gibson Smith. He's going to be a senior next year. He's from Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Man, this kid's fun to watch. If he doesn't make it in bowling, I'll tell you right now, mark my words, no one-hander has a chance. This kid was fucking good.
Yeah.
Dominic Gibson Smith. He ended up 7th.
All right.
But he's at a disadvantage. So a lot of these bowlers have already had 1 year in college. He just finished his junior year of high school and ended up 7th place as a one-hander,
Yep.
Right.
which there was only one other one-hander in the top 12. You know, and this kid, wow, you want to see a kid who one-hander rolls it good. He rolled it good. But I tell you, all those kids, like, they were really good.
I can tell you at least one of the pros that bowled that event was watching some of the scores and made the comment, I don't know how these kids are scoring this high.
Absolutely.
So good.
They were making that ball strike and making it look better than the pros did.
Yeah.
Seriously. Now, I got to say, Cooley made it look really good on a couple pairs, but he had a really bad look on some pairs and just an amazing look on some pairs.
Right.
But, man, these kids were and just absolutely phenomenal. And I can't give it enough to Gary Beck. Like, he treats these kids like they're PBA for a week. Absolutely full week-long event. He makes it a big thing. He has all these cool side events. It was really awesome. And even the non-advancers, he has cool side events for the non-advancers that they can bowl. And Brooke had it rough. Like, she's using 14 pounds now. She's got slow ball speed, and like, she's bowling against girls who are seniors in high school and already had a year of college. So, you know, she's at a disadvantage. But I'm like, you hit the pocket a lot. You just didn't strike because that ball, it's not made to strike, you know?
Right.
Essentially, it's not made to strike. I don't know how these kids are doing it, but, you know, and she didn't believe me. And then one of the side events was a no-tap tournament.
Yeah.
She ended up finishing out with like 274 to win the girls no tap, and it's because she fucking just hit the pocket and just
just got
a lot of nines. And like, one thing we definitely need to work on is spare game, I think, for next year. But I think as she grows a little bit and gets a little stronger and some more ball speed, I think is definitely going to help. But
sure.
You know, I got to say that Teen Masters, if you guys are on the fence, I'll tell you right now, youth players, if you're on the fence about having to choose between Junior Gold and Teen Masters, and you want a true test of bowling and something that's going to really be fun and have all sorts of side events, man, I'm leaning towards Teen Masters. Like, if they can continue that. Now, you know, unfortunately, obviously, Strobel, the owner of Thunder Bowl, we just lost him a couple months ago.
Right.
I'm hoping that the family will continue to run it as a bowling center.
Right.
But, you know, as we know, that
You never know.
industry is changing,
Right.
you know, as we speak. But hopefully they'll continue to run the largest bowling center in America and continue to host the Teen Masters there, because it's just so cool. There's like Thunder Bowl, you have like the arena, which is, it's a little bit different than what we have because it's almost like a hockey arena in behind the way the seating is set up. Yeah, it's really cool. Then you have the main center, and then you have a part of the center that's all galactic all the time. Just a really, really cool center.
Nice.
So I'm hoping that they keep that center alive, and you know, hope they keep hosting Gary there. And you know, so that was a great event. So everything from, you know, DV8, she bowled a lot. She did a lot of bowling.
So a quick high score shout out. Just for the senior games, that was National Senior Games were in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and Kelly Irving sent me some information on some of the high scores from out there from some of the local players. Kelly and Cheryl Monat were 4th place in the 55 to 59 women's doubles.
Oh wow!
In the 55 to 59 singles, Kelly was 8th, and then in the 60 to 63 singles, we had a 7th place finish by Mary Ellen Sheridan. And men's doubles 4th place, 70 to 74, was Don Clayton and Loring Diagazio. Loring, former champion in the M.I.S.T series, so he's eligible for TOC, by the way. And 65 to 69, 8th place was Ricky the Razor and Dean Lagner. Great Dean Lagner story. I'll tell you guys on another show. 75 to 79 singles, 7th place, Loring Diagazio. And 65 to 68-year-old 3rd place, bronze medal, Ricky the Razor. So pretty cool.
Yeah,
a lot of good local representation out there at the
definitely.
senior games in Pennsylvania. So well done by all involved. So listen, so we got one more thing to cover tonight. let's talk a little bit about those radical urethane testing that came out. Since the PBA, as I
Perception
say, is
versus
they're
reality.
giving the urethane balls Viagra January 2nd. They need to be super hard.
Yeah.
So,
Super hard. Cialis.
Right. yeah, exactly. So, there was a couple of different podcasts now with Phil, obviously from Radical, and Nick Smith.
They're very fun to watch.
Fun to watch, very informative.
Yes.
And, their premise was, hey, they're going to change rules. So let's take a look and see why they're changing the rules and do the rules make sense?
See what they're telling us.
Exactly. So they're basically saying that from their point of view, from their testing, that the new rule really doesn't make sense. So, you're using old technology to measure this equipment, and sometimes not the most accurate technology. And there's newer, more accurate technology that hasn't been embraced yet. But I mean, I talked about that when we talked about it on the show before you left. We were talking about that before. And, their testing was basically take one of these balls here, brand new out of the box, testing 74, hit it 10 times, and then you just rub a little bit of lane oil on it, and it goes down to 71.
Yeah.
You wipe the oil off. Your first two hits with the durometer go 70, like 71 and a half, 73, and then all of a sudden back to 74. Well, the first two, it's basically cleaning its needle.
Yeah.
And then once it gets into fresh, the needle's fresh again, it's great. So the cover stock isn't getting softer. It's just the needle's getting contaminated or whatever with the lane oil, hitting that resistance because of urethanes. And they even did it on polyester ball this week. And that looked like it got softer, and it really doesn't. Get softer.
Yeah, the lane oil is essentially lubricated.
Dirt, it doesn't even matter what it is.
Right.
Like they talked about doing the dry lane testing. Right, but you still have dirt and contaminants and everything getting on those covers that
When you're testing something with another object penetrating the cover, anything on that cover will change that data.
100%.
And that's exactly what they showed.
Exactly.
When you put a lubricant on it, it makes the data seem softer.
Right. And I agree with that.
It enters easier.
And they also tested an old blue hammer from the late 80s,
Right.
1990,
with
and
lubricant, it's
lubricant, it got softer. Now, did that ball get softer? No.
Right.
And like we had talked about before, they used to drill mill holes in them. Why? To get fresh material, so you don't have contaminants contaminating the needles that are doing the testing. this is just a little handheld Shore D durometer, which is a small version of what they use in the labs.
Correct.
But it's again, this is old technology that we're making rules on now. That to me, new rules. I don't know, and everyone has different opinion on it, I guess. So I talk about integrity, this, that, and the other. Well, I mean, like Phil had said, if that blue hammer, if they get softer over age, just sitting there, that thing should have been a pile of goo in the warehouse.
Right.
They're not sitting on the
Shouldn't have
testing.
testing 80.
Right, exactly. So that's
Well, I mean, it should be at least down in the 60s.
Right.
At the very least.
Guess what? It wasn't. So
Right.
punching 78, then all of a sudden you rub some lane oil on this ball. It's at 75. Wait a minute, did that blue hammer just get softer?
So
No, because when you cleaned it, guess what? It went back to 78 again. So
Right.
I mean,
strictly PBA though. That was the one
right,
thing.
it's just
that,
PBA thing. Right.
That's everybody that's listening. If you're looking at urethanes, throw them. Unless
And
you're
guess what? We can
renewable,
hook you up at Bowler Builders Pro Shop.
Yes.
Whatever urethane you want to
We'll
go.
get them.
Yeah.
You want it, we'll get it.
I mean, I got plenty myself. Trust me, I throw as much
but
urethane as
remember,
anyone.
it's just the PBA. So
Right.
unless you're bowling a PBA event, not a PBA league, a professional bowling association tour event, whether it's a regional or a national tour.
Or the PBA Junior, actually.
Okay, so PBA Junior as well.
Yeah. Anyone else, if you want to buy a urethane, order it from us.
Order it,
get
throw it. Absolutely.
How's that?
No
You say
question.
green pin, purple pin, who gives a shit?
Right, exactly.
Right.
I'm with you. Yeah, throw them all.
So, yeah.
So on the PWBA, probably not too many ladies use urethane. I mean, when I watch the live streams and stuff, it doesn't seem like there's too many ladies. I mean, I think I see Verity use it on occasion. And
Yeah,
others, but
Danielle
not
has, I think, on occasion.
Not
Shannon
once in a
will.
while.
Shannon
but not-
Klahowski.
Yeah, Shannon. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Shannon and her purple hammer in the gutter. They're like this.
Right.
She makes it look real good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see a few girls trying to throw it here and there, because I think they just think it's the right thing to do.
Mhm.
They don't. Maybe they don't get like the read off it and see, okay, that's actually not what's going to match up for me.
Right.
I mean, I had a purple hammer at one point. I had the pink widow, and I didn't really care for either one of them because they don't match up to my game at all.
Yeah.
I don't put a ton of revs on the ball. I don't need it for anything.
Well, most people use it to control the back end, and the ladies usually don't. You know,
They're looking for
We need
more
all the
reaction
back
on
end
the
we
back
could
end.
get.
Right.
Yeah.
Right back
So
end.
it's a whole, it's a different game. You know
It's
what
a
I mean?
very
So-
rare occasion.
And
that
most of the
we-
stuff they play on, you need a little extra help.
Yeah, I was
They
gonna
don't want
say
anything
it's
easy.
Right.
no.
Right, for sure.
It's,
So do we know, is that going to affect the PWBA at all, or is it just a PBA rule at this point?
If I had to guess, it will remain.
Because
a
obviously
PBA.
they're their own
Right.
entity.
We are
separate from the-
USBC.
right. So
Yeah.
I mean, USBC at this point is basically like, you know, these balls are cool with us. We're good to go.
Yeah.
So, which is they're the national governing body, like Phil said. So
Correct.
what they say goes. That's all they
Yeah.
care about. So
As long as it's not a 16-17, you're good to go.
right. And again, it's a difference between, you know, balls coming out of the factory mistakenly manufactured at a
different under the tolerance.
you know, because of a pour or whatever it was.
is, yeah.
Clearly those were taken out of play
Correct.
for a good reason. These are coming out at 74, 73, you know, whatever, and they're within tolerance. And, you know, you're now it's not, they could say
So
it's
they
not
changed
targeting.
it once, and we, you know, the company made it different, made it harder, and now they're doing it again.
Right.
You
So,
know, it's is what it is. PBA's not worried about it. Make everybody use. Take
Yeah.
something out of Team Masters. Make everybody use the same bowling balls.
right. I mean, that is that going to come down the line for them? Maybe. Who knows?
So here's another fun one. I believe Mallory and I had this conversation. So what if Team USA or all the teams, you know, the national, like for the countries bowling
Right.
each other, what if they could use anything?
Right.
Would we see Kyle Troop from Belmo throwing a purple hammer?
Right. I mean,
Is it that much better than a pitch black?
Who knows?
You know,
Right. Yeah.
Would we see Butcher throwing a phase 2?
Right. I mean, you just
You know,
if
because
it's
there's
just for the
obviously
country and not
certain companies have better bowling balls for certain
For
things,
sure,
or have you know, how many of the guys that are on motive staff would throw a Venom Shock?
Right.
You know,
Right.
It would be interesting to see how many bowlers would perform differently with that access.
Right.
You know,
Right.
with that ability.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
it'd be interesting to see for sure. So,
You know, they are still targeting Purple Hammer though, because like,
100%.
well, 100%,
we went
yeah.
into Junior Gold and you can only check 5 balls into Junior Gold, and they asked to see 1 ball out of Brooks' bag. It was her Purple Hammer.
Yeah.
Now, and your serial numbers are on there, so you could tell what a 16-17 purple would be, and she clearly had, well, she has a green pin, but it's clearly a new one. But the other thing is, like, she has an overseas ball in her bag, the Black Widow Toxic.
Right.
They didn't want to see that,
Right.
Right.
but they want to see her Purple Hammer.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're definitely targeting the Purple Hammer. I don't know if they thought they
Oh,
maybe
I'll tell you what, I
could,
can
like,
tell you
sneak
that
in
for
a
sure. Like
16,
when we
17.
went to nationals and we were putting all of our stuff up on the thing, I have a black hammer there, which is an overseas black hammer. Purple hammer goes up there. They're messing with it.
They
playing
take
with
as
it,
much time as they can.
as they can with it.
Yeah.
But that's a urethane next to the other urethane. They
Right.
didn't give 2 squirts about the black one.
Which is
The
an
purple-
overseas one.
Right. Whatever. I mean, I don't care. They were fine. They went through. But, you know, there's definitely there's a
But so
difference
it's,
there.
it's those actions like that is why Phil does what he does. Perception versus
Right.
reality.
And, you know,
So the
there is
perception is purple is a cheating. That ball is a cheating
right.
ball.
And
Yeah.
you know what? They're showing that. I mean, listen, this can happen to anything. I mean, like, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's not
right.
the piece of equipment.
And
It's
what did Phil say? If you're mad, quit your staff contract. He'll send you
He
something.
send you a
a case
case.
of purple
Yeah, he said
hammers.
I'll send you a case of them. He said. So I believe him. He's a man of his word. So
Wonder how many of
Jim
those he
Griffin
said
does
that.
make a comment here saying, "Can the PBA league that boasts the Elias Cup draft the women bowlers from the PWBA on their teams?" That's a no.
That's a
No,
no.
it is
So
great.
if there was a woman that was a PBA member
Mhm.
and finished in the top 75
Yeah.
in
Points,
points for
yep,
the season,
right.
they could be drafted.
Yep. Okay. All right, so that's pretty much that was kind of the one that stuck in my craw this week because I mean those were 2 in the last week and those were, you know, I know they got some coverage outside of just, you know, the radical groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of people are talking about it. Again, it's just looking at the science of it and, you know, the perception versus reality. This is the reality of it. This is what we showed. You know, this is what happens. And I don't know. I think that's kind of where we're at right now. Now, is it going to change any rules that are in place? Probably not at this point.
No.
They've already been set. So
He tried to help, and they don't want.
right. So, I mean, we'll see what happens going forward. And, you know, rules can be changed in subsequent seasons too. So, but I'm still going to throw as many purples as I possibly can. One that's
When they're
condition calls
needed
for it.
If
Although, like Tommy Guns, I beat Tommy Guns in the match play, not throwing urethane at all, which
that's true.
shocked both of us. So,
Tommy Guns has the reactive purple. That's that.
He's got the
damn
good
good
version. He just picked up some
We
more
have
of them.
3 more of them.
3 more.
Tell me the guy likes that, so that's gonna make him have 5.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So he's trying to catch up to my purple stash. He's almost there.
So a long ways to catch up to Dick and his venom shot. His venom shots.
yeah.
God,
88 venom
That's
shots. It's probably got to be over 100 now.
He's
Filled
like, are
out
you saying
right.
he's
It
the
was
Marty
like-
McFly with 88? That's the
Yeah.
magic number.
Right.
Go back in time with that.
When we
now?
figured it out a couple years ago, that's what we came up with.
That's
Was that he had
insane.
drilled 88 venom shots.
We got some happy birthdays coming in before we sign off, Mallory. We
I've
had,
seen them.
you've been
coming
watching
through,
them? Yeah, we had
Thank you guys.
Caspa.
I appreciate
gave you a
it.
happy birthday. Adam Lemarese, obviously a big fan of the show, one of our boys, giving you a happy birthday.
It'll be up to Maine in another month or so.
Yeah, Jim, happy birthday. Steve Hardy says happy birthday. Oh, all kinds of.
Goodness.
I guess
What else?
Cleveland.
Cleveland, happy birthday. So,
I
yeah.
got to see Cleveland when I bowled in Cleveland.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that's really cool. So, anyways, we're gonna put up our Hall of Famers again. That was the big news tonight. Was the F.K.M. Hall of Fame. We're gonna put that ticker across the screen for you. Jimmy Clark, Joe Colcord, James Goulding III, Mike Clausen, Charlie Mitchell, Joe Ramsdell III. What a great class! Really pumped for this induction
Pretty
ceremony and everything. So,
Thank you again, James.
well, thank you guys for always supporting the tournament. Thank you everyone who watches tonight and supports the FDDS. Obviously, we bring you as much information. That's what we're all about. Tournaments, live broadcasts, you name it, we're there. Whatever you guys need.
Let's talk bowling.
Let's talk bowling anytime. We'll always want to talk bowling. So, and Mallory, thank you so much for coming in with us, talking
Thanks
about
for
your
having
sophomore
me.
season too, and talking about me, so I didn't have to talk about me, which I don't like to do. So, and
I got
Jimmy,
you.
thank you so much for coming in tonight and all your support for everything, and congratulations on your Hall of Fame
Thank
as
you,
well.
sir. You
So,
as well.
thank you.
You as well.
And Ding Dong, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you for the reports from out in the Midwest.
Yeah, all the
Masters.
driving. Yeah, the
Junior
only
gold.
one thing that I didn't mention was Brandon Wallace.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
yes.
absolutely. I'd be
Huge finish
remiss
in
if I didn't
junior
say
gold.
that. Yes.
Yeah, huge finish.
What a
in
great
junior
job
gold.
by Brandon. Yes,
Our best finisher
absolutely.
here from the state of Maine, for sure. I made comments about some of our bowlers from Team Masters from the DJBT, but Brandon Wallace, our
54th,
highest.
I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's,
he-
yeah, he was impressive.
very
killed it.
well.
He bowled
Bowled
very
very
well, and I gotta say, so proud of our main bowlers. They looked amazing in those custom
Yeah, the jerseys came out
Yeah, they look great. Yeah, they did
Yeah.
a good job on those. That was quite strict.
so, and it was really, really hot that day for the state walk. So I gotta
Yeah.
tell you, so like they rocked it.
Yeah,
they
it
look
was-
great in their ripped jerseys. They got a lot
The-
of like people being like, oh wow, those are great,
Yeah.
And so it was really cool. So congratulations to all the main bowlers out there.
Yeah, absolutely. They did. Yeah,
At Junior
what a great
Gold,
job
it was
with that.
awesome. Team Master, I think Brooke might have been the first main bowler for Team Masters,
That's awesome.
which is kind of cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, the only I don't know if Brandon Dubuck would be the only person I would know that might have otherwise. I don't even know if he did or not.
But I got to tell you that experience was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
and
it's cool.
I had an idea for a tournament. I think that really kind of solidified me wanting to go forward with it.
So yeah, we've got some ideas. In the
We're gonna
tops.
have to talk
There's
about
nothing
that.
wrong
So
with-
you guys out there, get ready. And you might have to open up your pocketbooks just a little bit more for this one, but there's going to be something for you to take home with this one too. So
Cleveland says, after leaving Portland, I found the biggest problem is the easy house shots. The purple hammer is small potatoes compared to that. I agree with you. Chop those ratios.
Oh,
nothing
Cleveland.
higher than 5-1 for a house shot. Then you
Right.
go. Then
Yeah.
we'll start talking. So
5-1 that would be plenty.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
so
all
that's
about
plenty for
controlling
yeah.
paper
That's fine.
anyways,
Yeah.
really.
So
I believe one year at NEBA, John JVH had the high block for the year 13-20 something, and it was on 3-1.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got to see him.
Again, they can.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
Great.
such a great
Listen,
guy.
we
I
saw
love
some
that
big
guy.
scores on
Yeah.
Beefy Burrito,
We did.
and that was a 177-1.
Right.
So again,
Right.
depending on how guys break them down, like you said, the taper, all that stuff makes
Yeah.
a huge difference. So
Huge difference.
they can definitely play. So thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. I know the show was a little bit longer, but for good reason. We got a lot of great information out there. Got the Hall of Fame stuff out there. Had Junior Gold, DV8 Shootout recaps, you name it, we covered it. PWBA recap was awesome. So thank you guys. I had a great time with you tonight. Thank you everyone who tuned in and was watching all night. The shows will be archived on our YouTube channel, our Facebook page. The Twitch stream just goes away once it's gone. So it's just live. It's gone
Watch it
forever.
somewhere else.
So if you missed it on Twitch, sorry.
Yeah.
Twitch is Twitch.
Right.
Go to YouTube like everyone
Go to
else.
YouTube or go to Facebook. It's
Yeah.
archived there, so you can catch it. So, all right, and so next week, I'm sure we'll probably have another. Actually, maybe not next week. Fridays with Frankie.
Maybe
think
the week after.
Week
yeah.
So
Yeah.
definitely, we will be live for the draft though, right? We're going to be covering
Yes,
the
we will.
Next
BOPO
Thursday.
draft league draft
Which
next
is
Next
Thursday
October,
night,
in
the
Iowa.
10th. So yes, so
I got to follow from Iowa.
you got to fall from Iowa. Make sure you watch if you're not bowling at that time.
I shouldn't be.
Okay, perfect. Then maybe we can get you to check in
Tuesday,
live.
Tuesday? It's practice day.
Thursday.
Thursday? What?
Yeah.
What?
The
Thursday at 6.
Next
Thursday.
Thursday.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe.
She'll
So, anyways,
figure
our next event for you guys will be streaming the BOPO draft live. We got some good information from Hungus last year. That I think we're going to have better microphone coverage this year
I'm hoping
for
so,
the
yes.
event. We're working.
Where's
on
the
we
fun
have-
in that when you could hear what's going on at the draft?
That is true.
Yeah.
You can hear
I
it.
I
Noise
quite
is great.
literally drafted someone who was drafted right before me because I can't hear.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
We're
we'll
hoping
definitely
for the
we'll be
people
with you
watching.
next Thursday around what is
Yeah.
it, 6 o'clock?
Yeah, 6 o'clock start
Right.
on the Mez.
So on the mezzanine. So check us out then. Thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. For King Ding Dong, for Master Splinter, for Nut Sauce, I'm Frankie Avalon. Peace out and thank you for tuning in to another broadcast.